All right, James. Do you like sushi?
You know what? I only had it like once or twice.
Yeah.
I did like it though when I had it.
Okay. Well, we eat sushi quite a bit. I like sushi. She likes sushi. I don't know if you ever had like a poke bowl.
Oh no, I always wanted one.
They're very good. It's like rice and salad, seaweed salad, like vegetables, fruits, and then like fish and chicken and whatnot. Like it's a sushi bowl, right? It's regarded as sushi. So the other day, we decide we're gonna get sushi. There's a sushi place down the street from us that we ordered from. I was gonna go pick it up, and Khadija had ordered these little appetizer things called like spam. It's like spam and rice wrapped in like a piece of seaweed, right? So I get to the place to pick up the order. Order's ready, but they're like, oh, hey, actually, we're out of the spam thing.
Nice.
But we can offer like a reimbursement, and you also like we'll let you have some brownies or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll take the brownies. And I was like, okay, so you'll just put the money back on the card? And he goes, oh no, the brownies are the reimbursement. And I was like, oh, I thought you were giving me money and the brownies.
So I'm just gonna put the brownies between the rice and the seaweed.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna put the brownies back, and I like, hey, if you don't have the spam, we would just want the money back on the card, right? I'm not bringing home brownies. Like we'll take the money. I think they were reluctant to give me the money back because for one, Khadija ordered it through like Uber Eats, so it pops up as an Uber Eats order.
So Uber Eats is supposed to give you money back. Yeah,
and it doesn't pop up as like us or whatever. So I didn't really realize that, but. Anyway, I was like, oh, yeah, I think we'd rather just have the money or whatever. And he turns around and he asks his coworker if, like, they can do that. And the coworker just goes, well, do you want us to just make the sushi thing for you? I'm like, yeah, if you can make the sushi thing, I'd rather just have the sushi thing.
Just a damn brownie.
Yeah. So then the guy makes the sushi thing up for me, or two sushi things up for me. I forget the actual name, but it's like sushi. It's like spam and rice or whatever. But anyway, so he makes it, he gives it to me, and I go home, and I tell Khadija about this experience, and we're just like, if they had the means to make it, why did you tell us it was out? That was the more baffling thing. I get why maybe he didn't want to give me the money back, because, again, it was through Uber Eats, and we could have just requested it through Uber Eats, which I'm not really familiar with that, so I wouldn't know. I mean, he offered me a reimbursement. I assumed I was assuming he would just put it back on the card.
Well, anytime you say reimbursement means money.
Right.
An exchangeable money. It doesn't mean
give
reimbursement
me
of a brownie.
Brownies, yeah.
Like, I can't do nothing with a brownie. I don't even like, do you even like brownies like that? Do you even like sweets?
Oh, yeah, I love brownies.
Okay.
Well. I was really excited for the brownie. I was like, oh, cool, we're going to get our money back and some brownies? Great. And then he was like, oh, no, it's you either get the brownies or you can pick another side. I was like, oh, well, we would rather just have the money back on the card. Then.
Yeah, I'll take that then. Down the brownies.
But then the other option was, well, we can just make it for you.
Oh, God.
And why didn't you just make it? I wasn't even mad. I was just baffled because I was like, why didn't you just make it to begin with? What it is, James, is it's a slow Sunday, and they probably just closed some things early.
It had to be.
They cleaned up the thing already, and they're like, we'll just tell people we're out. But apparently they weren't like cohesive on their lie together because the other guy was just like, well, do you just want me to make it?
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't even raising hell. I wasn't angry. I don't get that way. I was just like, oh, well, we'd rather just have the money back on the card.
If it give us the money and I see if I came in there, it would have been a whole problem.
Right.
It was like, either give us money or give me the goddamn sushi. It would have been, yeah. No.
But it wasn't that big a deal. And then the guy's giving me updates as he's cooking it. He's like, all right, I'm cooking the spam. I'm putting the rice together. I'm wrapping it up. It's going to be done. I was like, I don't need
to play-by-play.
A play-by-play.
Thank you for telling me this.
Why is this so weird? Why didn't you just make it in the first place? I'm so confused.
I'm not suing anybody.
It was a weird experience, but we had a bad experience with the same poke place before. It was a different location because it was just after Barrel. We didn't have any food in the fridge because we were out of power for like however many days. And, everybody has this kind of the same story with that. So we ordered sushi. Khadija ordered it from the wrong location. She ordered it from like Rice Village.
Nice.
So I had to drive down to like Rice, and I go in and I go to pick up the bowl. They hadn't made the bowls yet because they were out of like the spicy tuna because Khadija got spicy tuna, and they were like, "Oh, hey, we don't have spicy tuna." So I was like, "Well, regular tuna is fine."
Yes, I'm not picky, man.
Yeah. So they made the bowls, and they were like, "Hey, actually, we don't have these toppings, and we don't have these toppings, and we're out of this, and we don't have the spam thing." So, but with this situation, the manager was there obviously because, again, it's like the day or two after Barrel or a couple days after Barrel, so lights are still coming back on in places. Obviously, they're not at full power. And the manager was there, and he's like, "Hey, look, I'm going to take a picture of the receipt, and we're going to make sure you get your refund online for the spam things." So he handled that. But they were still out of like some of the ingredients for the bowls, which I don't mind, but like Khadija was annoyed about because she had a day.
I would be, yeah, I understand that.
You know, I don't know. I'm kind of lax with certain things. It's funny because anytime we order out anywhere, my stuff usually comes out perfectly. And Khadija's is the one where it's like, oh, they forgot like half the elements to this meal for some reason. I don't know why it comes out that way, but it's just like, yeah. You know, like the big ranch conspiracy for one, and then like,
yeah, I remember that one.
There's just other things that's just like, oh yeah, I ordered these enchiladas and they didn't put the meat in the enchilada. Like,
how could you not put meat in enchiladas?
Exactly,
like, that's like, the hard part.
Why is it every time you order your food, it comes out messed up? And then I feel bad because like my food's perfect, and I'm like, oh well, they made mine just right.
You got to be kidding me! It's like a Denny's type deal. It's like an IHOP and Denny's type deal.
No, we're not starting beef with the sushi place.
Oh yeah, please don't. We don't need that type of problems.
On the go, or on a cruise with Jacob and James.
My Holly Hula girl.
I thought my story was going to trump your story, but apparently it's not.
Yeah.
But yeah. Just, oh boy.
What's your story?
Well, okay, so this week I had, weekend. I went to the bar. And I brought my laptop.
Oh.
Because I just wanted to just sit down, watch a little football, do some work.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Check some emails. And I like to be out in public. You know, I mean, not out in public, but just kind of just, I can't do anything at home.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, I just go out. And I saw this woman. She was looking at me from the corner of my eye. And I'm the type of person, when I'm typing, I can kind of see if someone's looking at you or noticing you. And the bartender was looking at me too. She knows me, like, so we talk all the time.
Right.
And she saw her going towards me. And I was like, oh, man. Here we go. And I kid you not, she looked like Parker Posey, the actress. Parker Posey. And she had the same attitude. She talked just like her and everything. I was like, oh. So we got to talking. We started chatting. And she was real nice and friendly. But then I could tell she was like a little tipsy. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, you're doing work? What do you do? I said, well, I don't like to tell people I do podcasting. Because I know what that leads to. Like, oh, you do a podcast? So I told her I do podcasts. It's just a little podcast on the side. Nothing major.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, really? Oh, wow. My ex used to do a podcast as well. I was like, yeah, we got divorced.
I know everybody's got a podcast, lady.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that a little bit.
Everyone's got one.
She was like, well, yeah, me and my husband got divorced.
Was it because of the podcast?
No. But she was like, you know, you kind of remind me of him a little bit. You're very studious. You know, you pay attention. You sit upright. I said, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And she's like, yeah, he cheated on me. And, you know, when you're at the bar, you get a lot of confessions.
Yeah.
It's almost like going to a Catholic church and sitting in the little confession booth. Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like. So she was saying, yeah, my husband cheated on me. And I got back by having sex with his best friend. Okay. So the whole time she's telling me this, my laptop was just going completely black. So I was like, let's just close this up right now. Let's just close this up because the story that you're telling me is just completely wild right now.
Should have started taking notes.
I know, right?
Like, okay, go on.
So in the back of my mind, I was like, I can't wait to tell Jacob this. I can't wait to tell Jacob. This is good entertainment. And every time I go to this bar, I always encounter somebody weird. Yeah. Whether it be a guy, a drunk guy putting his hand on my shoulder, and he was just sitting up here just babbling on the entire time, or I always run into a woman that's very flirty, but it's very messed up in the head. And that's what this woman. That's what this woman was. So we're just sitting there talking. I buy her a couple drinks. She buys me a couple drinks. I said, all right. She's finally calmed down now. And she was like, so where are you going tonight? I said, I'm going back home. I'm going back home. Because after the whole cheating stuff, I was just like, I just don't really think I want to be around this. I just got through dealing with this. So why do I want to be around the same situation again? She was like, oh, well, I can give you my number and you can call me. We can go out on a date, get some sushi. And I was like, well, sure.
I like how this is your connection to
Yeah. Because she likes sushi. She likes eating chicken. She's more seafood and stuff like that, Chinese food. She doesn't really like eat, meat. She's more of a farmer. She likes chicken and stuff like that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, cool. Anytime. So I got her name in my phone. That's the crazy lady. That's the crazy lady. And like I say, she looks exactly like Parker Posey. She looks like a splitting image of her. Sounds like her, kind of has that asshole quality a little bit. I can kind of sense that, because she was kind of asking me some questions, some off-brand questions that I wasn't really comfortable with. And she was like, "Have you ever dated a white woman before?" I was like, "Yes, I have. Yes, I've had a son by a white woman.
Yeah.
If that helps any." I said, "Oh," she was like, "Oh, wow, I didn't know that." I said, "Yeah, I've dated plenty of black guys before." I said, "Oh, well, I guess I'll be your fifth or sixth black man, huh?"
Oh, jeez.
Because at some point, I ain't gonna lie, she kind of got on my nerves a little bit, and I was like, I just want her to leave.
Yeah.
I just want her to leave. So I kind of made like I had to do something. I was like, well, gotta go, and so I get I got a number and everything. And
that's funny. Well, I'm looking it up now, James, and it looks like Parker Posey moved to Houston last year after a divorce.
No, the hell she didn't. No, the hell she didn't. No, the hell she didn't. God, man. So if we do go on a date, I will potentially tell this story on the pod.
That would be actually funny if that was the case.
It would be funny.
Like, yeah, she looked like this actress, and it's like, well, it turns out she moved here.
No. She's like at least about 41. Parker Posey's in her 50s.
Yeah, she's like 55.
Yeah, 55.
Yeah, she was a crazy stowaway chicken lost in space, and
she played
Fused in a bunch of other movies.
Yeah, she does like a lot of indie movies.
Yeah.
But that's my crazy story.
Well, you should go on a date with her for the podcast. Good content.
I'm glad to see me sacrificing my sanity for the podcast is great content.
Look,
I'm glad to see that.
we got to make content, James.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Any way we can make content.
You're right.
My sushi story made it. Like you can't go on a weird date.
It was a little bit ironic that she brought up sushi and you brought up sushi too. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh man, there you go. That
ties in.
That ties in a little bit. Yeah. Jesus.
Oh,
so that's my story for the week. That's why I'm staying away from bars as much as possible.
We're good. Nothing good happens at bars.
Oh yeah.
Nobody bring your laptop.
Well, it's a nice casual bar.
Go to the bar to get some work done.
Go not get work. Yeah, get some work done. Like it's a nice casual bar. It's like it was on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was barely anyone in there.
That's not so bad.
Football games on and stuff like that. Yeah. I wouldn't bring it like on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, like no, hell no.
On the go. Or in the shower. With Jacob and James. All right, well, moving on from your weird bar encounters. So I don't know if you've been keeping up with the Boeing Starliner astronauts, James, but they're still stuck in space.
Oh yeah,
they are still stuck there. It looks like they're not going to come down until like 2025. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, NASA's having a hard time getting somebody out there to get them down. I predict one or both of them are going to die before they even actually are able to get them. Because things are just taking too long. I don't know what the rations are like. I don't know what's really going on up there. I don't even know what the thought process is on this, but it seems very casual. I don't know. There's not enough alarm bells ringing for some reason.
Do they care?
It doesn't seem like they do. I mean, the astronauts probably care a lot, but so a couple days ago, James, the astronauts connected with Houston and they were like, hey, we're hearing some noises up here. So I'm gonna play this clip.
Houston on 2, I've got a question about the Starliner.
Houston's with you, Butch. Go ahead.
There's a strange noise coming through the speaker, and I didn't know if you could connect into the Starliner and let me keep mic and let you hear. I don't know what's making it, but I don't know if there's something that maybe is connected between here and there, making that happen. But anyway, can you do that?
We can configure that, Butch. Give us a minute, and I'll call you back when it's ready.
Okay.
All right, Butch, that one came through. It was kind of like a pulsing noise, almost like a sonar ping.
Yeah, I'll do it one more time, and I'll let y'all scratch your heads and see if you can figure out what's going on. Here we go. All right, over to you. Tell us if you figure it out.
Yep, good recording. Thanks, Butch. We will pass it on to the team and let you know what we find. And Butch, just to make sure I'm on the same page, this is emanating from the speaker in Starliner. You don't notice anything else, any other noises, any other weird configs in there? Okay, thank you.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. Maybe it's another human or something.
Another human?
I mean, it would be so simple for me to just sit there and say it's alien.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
I mean, maybe it's just a human, or who God knows what it is. Only God knows what the hell that is up there. I have no idea. It's like, so how do these people get stuck? I know we did a story on this before, but
they got stuck because Boeing Starliner is what they use to get up there.
Okay.
It's a spacecraft made by Boeing. Again, Boeing's not having a good year.
They're not.
So apparently there was like a helium leak in the craft before they even launched. Like, it was known there was a helium leak or some kind of leak. So they get up there, and then Boeing is like, "Oh, actually, we can't bring you back down because of the leak. It might kill you. So you're gonna have to stay up there until the next crew comes up or whatever." And that's kind of where they're at. Is like they're still trying to figure out how to get another crew up there to get them out of the space. I honestly don't fully understand why they can't just hitch a ride back.
Yeah, I don't get it.
And I haven't done enough research on it. And again, it just doesn't seem like too many people are concerned.
No one's concerned. I have heard no concern from anybody.
Like, it's starting to get a little bit more media attention just because it's been a couple months since they've been up there, and it looks like they're going to be up there until 2025, which is still a good 3 to 4 months away when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Because we got October, November, December, January is 2025. I think the February has been tossed around as to when they can get them down. Yeah. So it says, ultimately, NASA determined that returning Williams and Wilmore on Starliner was too risky. The agency announced that the 2 astronauts would instead return to Earth aboard a SpaceX Dragon capsule in February 2025. So the craft that they're on is going to leave without them. Or not the craft that they're on, but I guess like the thing they took to get there.
It's going to leave without them.
Yeah, it's going to have to leave without them because it's got that leak. And I think they're on the International Space Station. So I think like they're currently out there with like some Russians or some other people.
Yeah,
So you think, you would work together with one of the other countries and just like, hey, can they come home with you guys? But I don't know how space travel works. I mean, I'm sure it's a delicate process and it's not as advanced as you and I would think it would be.
Well, it took him forever to bring down Matt Damon.
Yeah.
The Martian.
Yeah. He had to grow potatoes out of his own poop. But these guys aren't on a planet.
I don't get it. No one can explain this logic to me.
It's really bizarre, but I don't know. I just predict one of them's gonna die, or I don't know. Maybe the aliens are gonna come and pick them up at this point. Maybe they're making the noise on purpose to try to get them up faster. And you're like, hey, we're hearing some things here.
They just doom, doom, doom. Keep it going.
Yeah. Let's do it a few times, and maybe it'll spark their interest.
Jeez Louise, that's crazy.
I was telling a friend of the show, Richard, the other day. I was like, what would be funny is if they come back and they pretend to be all
the real ones.
Yeah, or just all enlightened from like alien encounters. Like, we were encountered by the aliens. We know all these things now.
Or they can just come back to Earth as the fake real versions of themselves.
Yeah, they just
Their bodies been snatched.
It's gonna be a big conspiracy. They're
Yep.
like the aliens got them.
Yep, the aliens got
I don't
to him.
believe the
And they
aliens got them.
and they probed them.
Probed. But I don't know. It's such a wild and interesting story to me, though. It's just they're just chilling up there, man. They're just hanging out. That's a very scary thing.
Yeah.
Floating around in space.
In all seriousness, I can't imagine just being stuck up there
Yeah.
for all this time.
Because also, like, in terms of, like, food and water and stuff, like, I mean, you have enough for probably, like, 6 months to a year, but you're going to have to start rationing at some point. I don't know. You're also floating around because I think they're in 0G constantly. I don't think, it's not like they have gravity inhibitors, right?
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Well, see you 2025.
Yeah. Yeah, see you back
That's
in
the best I can tell you.
2025.
I mean, that's all I got for you there. It ain't my behind that's stuck up there. I got my own problems on Earth.
When they come back, they're going to be doing the podcast circuit. So we'll just reach out to them. Then you'll be our first, like, big famous guest.
I'll take it.
Hi, I'm Joel, and beside me is the monkey. We're from the Joel the Monkey Show. We're real excited to share with you guys something big that we've been working on. We've heard about recently the astronauts stuck in space. So me and Monkey have put in all of our resources, and we've even contacted Lithuania, and they've donated money to help out too. And we plan to send a team to space very soon to rescue those astronauts. You're probably wondering about the team we're sending to space. We've got a list right here for you guys. We have Harrison Ford, Keanu Reeves, Dwayne Johnson, Robert Downey Jr., Kevin Hart, Jenna Ortega, Sydney Sweeney, Jason Momoa, Joe Rogan, and even Elon Musk will all be on the team going to space to rescue those astronauts. A lot of really big names, really excited. What's that, monkey? Why are we sending them to space? Why not people we hate? No, it's easy, monkey. With them in space, if they get stuck too, they won't distract people from our podcast. We get rid of all the big names, then we can have more airtime. It's great. It's a foolproof plan. What? Robert Pattinson and Timothy Chalamet also. Oh, yeah, I forgot about them. Oh, it's great, yeah. They're on the rise right now. Big news. Timothy Chalamet and Robert Pattinson will also be going on the trip. It's really exciting. Oh, it's going to be great. Yeah, no, don't worry. We'll cut all that other stuff out in the air. No, nobody will ever hear us. We'll know anything about our plan. What's that? Oh, yeah. Also, Jacob and James from the On The Go podcast with Jacob and James will be going on the trip too. They will be broadcasting live the whole experience. Yeah, with those buffoons out the way, we can get more airtime. I'm tired of those guys taking up our time. Why do we only get to have a podcast once a month? What's that? If we send them to space, then who's going to do our editing? Well, Jacob. Oh, yeah. Scratch that. Jacob and James won't be going this time. We hope to be able to contact all of you very soon with more information and more of an update on the exact date of the flight. For now, take care and stay classy.
James, you lived in California, right?
No, never.
No, I thought you had stayed in California at some point.
No, I lived in Michigan.
Oh, okay. Well, I knew Michigan, but I thought California too for some reason.
No.
All right. Well, no worries. So apparently there's a neighborhood, or there's a couple neighborhoods sinking in California.
Oh, I think I heard about that.
Yeah, like I guess the land is like spreading apart from itself, right? Because California is supposed to break off at some point into the ocean, but there's certain areas where it's getting pulled apart.
Damn.
And some neighborhoods, it's like a centimeter a day, which doesn't sound like a lot, but over time, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. So I think like 30 years ago, they were warning these people like, hey, if you build a house here, just know in however many years it's gonna get pulled apart.
Damn.
And sure enough, like 30 years later, there's a whole neighborhood that's almost like unlivable because the neighborhood's spread apart so much that the houses have like sunken into the ground. They've had to pull up the water pipes. It's crazy.
That's like San Diego.
I don't think it's quite San Diego. What makes you think San Diego?
Well, you know, San Diego, well, that's the first thing I think about water being right next to water. I think about San Diego. Other than San Francisco.
You're
San
right.
Francisco too.
Yeah, because they have the bay.
Yeah, they have the bay. Did you experience any of that when you was in California?
Just the land sinking away? No.
You sure? You just like, oh, seems a little uneven.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I haven't seen that.
Hey, okay, man. Hey, you got it.
But I mean, I just look up sinking neighborhood in San Diego, and there's like a couple neighborhoods that pop up. Like sinkholes threaten Bonsall family's home. Sinkhole forces La Jolla residents out of condo. That's La Jolla. That's like right down the road from San Diego.
Oof. So what you're saying is don't live in California.
Yeah, I don't live in California. I mean, it's a nice state. It's a pretty state. San Diego's real nice. But yeah, it's not doing so well over there.
Well, I mean, you don't have to live in there. You can live in St. Padre. I mean, not St. Padre. You got San Jose. Got Sacramento. I mean, maybe you can live in a couple places that are not like that. All right, maybe you live in a farm.
That is true. Or you live more inland, right? You don't live near the ocean.
Mm-hmm. That's a smart choice.
That is fair. You could just do that, but I just find it so interesting that these neighborhoods are sinking into because I saw a post on Reddit about it, and that's what intrigued me because someone was like, oh, this is happening and there's no news coverage. And then in the comments, people were like, yeah, because it's been happening for 30 years and the people who live in the area were warned about it. And it's also rich. It's like the rich neighborhoods. Like rich people live in these neighborhoods.
Wow, well, nobody cares about them.
Yeah. Yeah, they're upset because their $1 million homes are like sinking into the ground. But it's like, no, you guys were warned. If you build here, this is what's going to happen.
So basically, it's like the Titanic all over again. We had a bunch of rich people die on a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's people walking around these neighborhoods. Like I've seen a couple of videos where they're like, yeah, we used to drive down here and now we can't. And the driveway's all messed up. And it's just like, oh, okay, well, you were kind of warned about it, I guess.
Like I say, well, okay, well, like you just throw your hands up.
I mean, when I found out they were warned about it, I didn't feel so bad afterwards,
Of course not. You don't feel bad for people when they're warned.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 30 years in the making. I guarantee you, it's like their parents or whatever originally built a house there, and they're like, oh, I don't have to worry about this.
Oh, I'll be just fine.
Or I have like X amount of years to figure it out, and then here we are, X amount of years later.
That's
and now
funny.
you can't drive down your damn neighborhood.
That is hilarious. So you just happened to look this study up?
Yeah, I saw a Reddit post about it, and then I just like looked into it even more. I was like, what's going on? Why is there a neighborhood sinking? Because they were like, oh, no one's talking about this.
I kind of noticed with our stories lately, it's like one story that no one's really talking about. It's like, it's just a lot of stuff going on out here that no one talks about.
We live in such a fast-paced like society.
Yeah.
I brought this up when we weren't recording, but the last episode or a couple episodes ago when Joel had called in to tell us about that Concord game and how they're canceling it. And I made the comment that like, it's kind of what's going on with a lot of media these days. It's like, if it doesn't hit, if it's not getting clicks, it's just forgotten about immediately.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Netflix is doing it a lot. You were talking about Acolyte got canceled. Netflix always cancels like a few TV shows when they don't really get picked up. And now it's transferring into games. Like games are just shutting down because no one's playing it all of a sudden.
Well, I mean, it's just like I said, when you have so much goes on, you have so much media that happens every day. You got so much news that happens every day. You got hurricanes, you got mass shootings, you got celebrities getting, well, that more on the non part that no one really cares about. But you got celebrities that are doing stupid stuff. You got elections and politics. There's so much other stuff that keeps the daily cycle going that you really don't even think about the other stuff, the usual stuff that happens in your city.
You're right. Or even other cities or other states or just like, everything is just kind of swept under the rug sometimes. But, it's nice we can look these things up and talk about what nobody else is talking about.
That is true. Maybe it may gain some traction.
Yeah, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we'll be known for the guys who cover the news nobody else wants to cover.
It's like a new podcast.
The news nobody wants to talk about.
That's a long podcast name.
Yeah, it'll have to be like the undesired news or something. The undesirables.
Man, I like that.
I don't know. Could be a new thing. You never know.
Welcome to Greasel Burger. How greasy do you want your beefy? How can I take your order?
Or in the drive-thru.
Yeah, I'll have 15 Greasel burgers, extra greasy, extra mayo Cajun sauce on all 15. It's for my family. 1 extra large diet soda, please.
Do you want ice with that?
Boy, what the hell kind of question is that? Of course I want ice. It's fucking hot out here. And could you speed that up? I'm in a hurry.
With Jacob and James. All right, James, I have another update for you. A story we covered a few months ago, actually. You might remember this. We had opposing opinions on this, but you remember when I was talking about the Cheeseball-Man.
Oh, yeah.
So,
That guy.
yeah, that guy. So, it turns out he's a YouTuber. And
Of course he is.
He recently came out as the Cheeseball-Man. Because he's trying to do this little mini documentary of how it came to be and why and all the setup behind it. So I stumbled upon this 10-minute video where he was explaining hey, I'm New York's Cheeseball-Man. This is what happened. And he said he got inspired by seeing some other guy eat a whole rotisserie chicken. And he was like, oh, I want to do that, but with cheese balls. So what he did was a month before he did it, he printed out 427 flyers or 420 flyers or whatever and posted them all over New York with a QR code. And he had an Instagram made up for it. He had all these social medias made up and dedicated to the Cheeseball-Man. And it was the superhero character he kind of came up with. He wore the mask. Nobody knew it was him. And obviously he's yeah. And then on the day, all 1,000 people said they were going. And all these people showed up at the park to watch him eat these cheese balls. And what got me was he said he was afraid he was going to get arrested. He was I'm pretty sure I'm going to get arrested for this, which
There's so many people.
Yeah, because there's so many people, I guess, but I'm that's kind of wild when you think about it, because all the guy's doing is eating cheese balls. He's not even, you're not disrupting the public per se. You invited them.
Well, it's when you cause a ruckus, a public
nuisance, yeah. But I guess because everybody was just cheering him on, it was no one was rioting, no one was breaking stuff down. They were just yeah, eat the cheese balls and blah 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 blah. So all these people showed up, and it, he was I ate every single one of these damn cheese balls. Everyone was cheering me on. It was great. And he said after that he got, this is the crazy thing about internet fame, James.
Oh, I know.
Because ordinarily you would never hear about this man, but he got all kinds of podcast appearances. He was on all kinds of news stations doing interviews and living the high life. He was invited to parties and all these other things. And he would always come in character as the Cheeseball-Man. And then he said what happened was eventually people started realizing who it was. They started digging into it. And they're oh, this is this one YouTuber guy. This is who the Cheeseball dude is. And so that's kind of why he's doing this documentary now. Because he's you guys found out.
So he has a documentary about him eating cheese balls and people finding out.
Yeah. Well, he put it together because people started figuring out who it was. I mean, it's not I don't know. It's not it was a big dangerous secret or whatever. It's just it's a character he made up and he did a thing, and then he was able to get success from it, I suppose.
He act like he Batman or something.
Yeah.
Everybody found out who I am, so now I had to.
Yeah, right.
He act like he Iron Man or something. Iron Man or Batman.
Right.
Get this guy out of here, man.
Get
this guy out of here, man.
But he did all this stuff, and then it turns out he did a second event where he had a friend of his dress up in a yellow mask and eat a bunch of bananas.
Jeez.
This is where he started messing up, honestly, because you do the one event, you do some appearances, you make a little bit of money, you go back to normal, you leave Cheeseball-Man alone, right? This is where he started messing up, I think, is he did an event where like his friend came up and ate some bananas, and then they invited another YouTuber to join them, and he came up with like a watermelon. So they
Like
had
Gallagher?
Yeah. Like Gallagher, no. Not like Gallagher.
You remember Gallagher? He used to smash those.
I remember
those
Gallagher.
watermelon?
Yeah. But no, I don't know. But then they called themselves like the League of Legends.
The
Or whatever.
League of Legends.
I know. I know. And so they did that, and they started holding like tryouts for all these heroes or whatever. And then that's where the documentary kind of ends because he's doing it in parts. So I guess at one point he stages like all these other people to like kind of join his crew of, I don't know, random people who eat crap in public. But
now, see, I thought my idea for a documentary is the rise and fall of the Cheeseball-Man. It was like, oh man, he was doing so good. He was a YouTube guy, he did all these different things. You know, then he got, you know, the fall of him. He got addicted to cheese balls, and he started turning orange. And his wife was like, "Hey, you got to get this. You got to beat this monkey. You got to beat this." He started breaking out in highs.
That would have been a better. Yeah, that would have been a better.
That's a better documentary. Come on, man.
Because he seems like. I mean, I looked at his kind of like other content, and he doesn't seem like a serious kind of YouTuber. He seems to just do things. Like not as like not like a prank channel or anything, but like you can tell in his editing and stuff, like he's very non-serious, right? So like I could totally see this person doing that, and maybe this is what this is going to end up being. I don't know.
It has to be
right,
parody
because it comes out in parts. But yeah, you know, like his identity got exposed. But he was talking about how I guess he set up to like this big event, and he had like he's like the Cheeseball-Man had managers and agents. Like I got set up with agents, yeah, and so. He had to come out to all of his agents that he was like the cheeseball guy before this big event because it's like a whole production he put on of like them finding all these other cartoon characters for him to hang around with.
And here it is. You can't get one manager, one agent on nothing.
Well, we haven't tried, but
we could definitely get some cheese balls and swallow those up.
Yeah, we could do a
no Diddy.
We could do a cheeseball.
Pause.
Cheeseball event. I mean, it's wild. I don't know. Internet fame to me is just so wild because the internet is so big that you would never know about this guy ordinarily. Like, this never got covered in our area. We covered it because I found it and we talked about it. But like,
stress the cheese balls with too much on his heart.
In the news, it didn't cover this. You wouldn't know this guy, but he's apparently like a famous dude up in New York.
That's great.
I mean. There's all kinds of like apparently there was like these guys on TikTok. They're called the Costco guys, and so their whole shtick is they go to Costco and they're like, "We're Costco guys. Of course we like this and we like that." That's their whole thing. And they started walking around eating like the chicken bakes and the cookies, and they made their whole content off of it. Apparently,
no security's ever stopped.
Apparently, they got like millions of subscribers. They're doing great. They're collaborating with all kinds of other people on TikTok.
That must be nice.
And I'm like. I've never heard of these dudes. You know what I mean?
Never.
But apparently they're all over the place, and now they're having their own downfall moment. Like
what the hell they do?
Yeah, I don't fully understand. They're collaborating with like this prank guy who does like dumb pranks. Like the prank is the guy goes and gets people like Walmart employees and then brings them back to the Costco guys. And he's like, oh hey, like this guy's hungry, and they turn around and they're like, oh, well, do you want the chicken bake or the chocolate cookie? And then the Walmart employee walks away because they're like, I'm not dealing with your nonsense. And Walmart actually tells their employees to not engage with TikTokers who are trying to make prank videos in your store.
I wouldn't either.
Right. So that's kind of what they started like falling into. And now people are like, oh, you guys are hacks. Like you're doing all the gimmicky stuff. Like they're endorsing like some stupid brick breaker game, like really cheap looking brick breaker game. And so people are already turning against them. And it's just like, I've never heard of you guys before ever. And you've apparently already had a rise and now you're on your fall. And just, it's wild. I don't know. The fact that like you can be so famous and yet be unheard of. It's in different parts of the world. Like it's a different kind of celebrity, right? Because like real life celebrities, you know, we just talked about Brad Pitt and Armie Hammer and, you know, all them like last episode.
Yep.
But most people in America know those names. If I told you, hey, have you heard of the Costco guys? Doing big on TikTok right now.
I mean, well, you probably never heard of them, but if you have TikTok and stuff like that, you probably do.
That is true.
And that's the thing about it. Like, for most
It's
of us,
so niche.
Yeah, it's very niche.
But also because it's so niche, it comes and goes so fast. And like the Hawk Tuah girl is kind of a good example here.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Joel actually covered her on his Joel and the Monkey show.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, because I think everyone expected the Hawk Tuah girl to do like the OnlyFans route because they're like, oh, okay, you're making a sexual joke. Obviously, you got famous from this. Now you're going to do OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Like, we already kind of see this coming. No. She's doing a bunch of podcast appearances. She's on all kinds of podcasts. She's getting a podcast of her own on Jake Paul's podcast network called Talk Tuah. And all the money and stuff she's been making so far, allegedly, as far as I know, from what she says, she's giving to like animal shelters and other kinds of charities. Like she's helping animals and old people or something like that. That's what she wants to do.
That's not bad.
Yeah, she's actually trying to take like the 15 minutes of fame that she's getting, stretch it out as much as possible.
That's what you're supposed to do.
And spend the money wisely on things and probably investing it and, saving some stuff up. She just did a celebrity poker thing with like some other internet celebrities. Again, it's wild because like a little 15-second clip is what gets you there.
That's the internet for you.
It's insane. I mean, it's good for her for, taking this route and not doing the obvious like OnlyFans. She did an interview with Bill Maher, and it was creepy as hell.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Because Bill Maher was like kind of like subtly hitting on her.
Yeah.
And she was just like, you're like my grandma's age. My grandma's single. Do you want to meet her? And Bill Maher's like, oh, you don't really know who I am, do you? She goes, no. I got hired. You paid me to be here.
Gotta check what you're doing before you just jump into it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Internet fame just baffles me. That's it. That's all.
I see.
But Cheeseball-Man, I like Cheeseball-Man.
I see you do, man.
He just brought people
I'm
together.
good.
I don't. You see the clip of him bringing everybody together at the park, and it's just like no one's yelling at each other. They're just like, yeah, this guy's eating cheese balls. This is what we're here for. This is great. It's a Saturday afternoon. Like, we've been looking forward to this for a month. There's little kids at the cheese ball park at the park going, yeah, go cheese ball.
I have
man.
no doubt they love it. Yeah.
And he ate the whole thing. He ate all of it.
Good for him.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Good for him, James.
God bless him, my guy.
Good for him. So in a month, James and I are going to be eating tacos.
Sure.
The Doritos Locos
There
tacos,
you
the
go.
Supremes. We're going to eat 1,000 of them. And we're going to announce the location in a month.
Jesus, you're young on that one, man.
I mean, it works, James. We could do it.
Oh, I bet it does.
We could do it. I'm going to eat the tacos. James is going to film me.
All right, there you go.
There you
That's
go.
about right.
Yeah. Look out for the flyers if you live in the Houston area. It's going to be a great time.
Jesus.
You got anything you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, man, that's it.
Okay, you just had your weird bar story.
Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got. I don't have any weird TikTok stories. No cheese poppins.
Come on, man.
No.
Well, you know what? Make sure you text a lady and tell her you need good quality content. That's your homework. That's your homework
make sure
for
she
next
doesn't
week.
Text me. I'll make sure she doesn't text me. I might block her.
Okay. Well, we'll never know the saga of the
I mean, we'll see.
Celebrity lookalike.
We'll see, because the last conversation we had was pretty awkward.
Okay.
Pretty
well,
weird.
Tell you what, we'll leave it to the audience.
There you go.
If you want James to continue this weird relationship with the lady he met at the bar, you can email us at onthegopod2023@gmail.com. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think James should do, and we'll act accordingly.
There you go.
If you want to find James on Instagram to do that, you can find him at
James9794.
You can find me on Instagram at jacobdantone.audio, and you can find both of us together on The Go with Jacob and James. It's all one word on Instagram. You can also find us on YouTube, On The Go with Jacob and James. Again, it's all one word. We put out episodes every Monday and Friday. Please like, subscribe, follow, do all the things you need to do to keep us in your lives. And without further ado, I'm on the go. James is on the go. We're all on the go.